Growing up, I always remember my mom being a single mom. I don't remember the exact moment she told me my dad was dead because I was so young. I have kind of always known. My mom told me that my dad died in a car accident 2 months before I was born. She said he was hit by a drunk semi-driver and was killed instantly on impact. Obviously no one questions their own mother, especially at a young age. You believe their every word. This is what I always told people growing up if they asked about my dad. I would say I don't have a dad because he was killed. My mom, even on financial aid papers, claimed to be a widower. Whenever I asked questions, my mom said things that just made sense to me. Like, "Mom, why don't you have any photos of Dad?" She told me they all burned in a house fire started by the dryer right after I was born. This made sense because we had moved to a new house when I was very young. Also, again, why would you question your mom? I tried to research my dad and his death, but nothing ever came of it. I assumed BC back in the day they didn't have computers or internet. If they didn't, it wasn't much. I later found out his name was Donald according to my birth certificate. The only reason I found this out was because I had to force my mom to gift to me so I could get my license at 16. A lot of the times I tried to ask more questions when I got older, but my mom became visibly angry when I did this. Eventually I just stopped because I didn't want to get yelled at anymore. This strained our relationship growing up. My mom and I were never really close. I tried asking family members questions and literally no one, even my grandma, knew. My mom and grandma are super close, so this was very odd to me. The last time I asked my grandma before I finally asked my mom for the last time, my grandma said, "I don't know who or where your dad is, but I know your mother loves you." Holy crap, when my grandma said that, I got goosebumps and knew something was very wrong. Fast forward to when I was 19, I started to see a therapist after being a victim of attempted kidnapping and diagnosed with PTSD. My therapist told me to take a DNA test to possibly find out more about my dad's side. This way I could still find out info without having to ask my mom and making her angry again. I asked my mom to pay for the DNA test because I was a poor college student at the time. She right away got so mad and yelled at me. She claimed that the government was going to clone my DNA and sell it. So I never ended up taking it. After that I didn't bring it up again. Fast forward to when I was 20 years old around Thanksgiving time. My 3 friends and I had a fun day of baking cookies and talking all day long. Until I brought up the stories of my past and my dead father. I had a conspiracy theory I made up about my life totally as a joke. I told my therapist once and now my friends. The theory: what if my mom had a one-night stand with a rock star, musician, and got pregnant with me? She never was able to find him again, so she couldn't tell him. My mom is considered the golden child in her siblings. So in order to remain in the good graces of my grandparents, she told them she eloped and got married. Then got pregnant with me, and shortly after my dad died in a car accident right before I was born. Would make total sense why none of my family met him or knew him if it was a short relationship. My theory wasn't too off. But this is what really went down. My friends all told me that all my stories didn't really add up. A lot of them said they seemed odd but never said anything. My friends paid for me to take a DNA test finally. I took a DNA test and then confronted my mom about it. She finally confessed that she always wanted to have a child but never wanted to get married. She found a clinic that would do sperm donor babies. She had 2 miscarriages before me, all with different donors. The 3rd time she got pregnant with me. The name Donald came from donor. There was no dad that died in a car accident, all lies. With my results from the DNA test, I mostly just had first cousin matches and didn't think anything of it. But what I didn't know was the first cousins and half-siblings share a similar amount of DNA. A few weeks later a girl messaged me claiming to be my half-sister. She was able to answer all my questions I always had. The reason my mom never could answer those questions weren't because she was upset he died, but because she truly didn't know. The girl who messages was correct that she was my half-sister. She introduced in a group chat to the other siblings. This was 3 years ago and we only had 30 half-siblings at the time. Now we are up to 50 and expecting more to still pop up. We are from all over the country. We will never truly know how many of us there is because of how messed up the donor industry is. As for my dad being alive, we found this out recently. After years of research and sleuthing, my sisters found our donor through leads from the DNA test. We have reached out to him and he is grateful to know about us. We have limited contact due to his family and his horrible wife. His wife wants to keep her good reputation. Like helping families get pregnant is a bad thing. Partly I think his wife is homophobic. His wife is very religious and most of our siblings' parents are same-sex couples. Our donor never told his family about being a sperm donor in college because of his extremely Catholic family. I wish he would tell them and we could meet our cousins, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. But it's unlikely he ever will. He talks to us on rarely to say happy birthday or Merry Christmas, but that is mostly it. Thankfully he was able to give us updated correct medical information. There has been a few donor child stories on the THT podcast, but my story is a bit different from what I have heard before on the pod. Sadly, this is common in the donor children community. Many parents lie to their children with no planning to tell their kids. In the 90s no one ever expected that DNA tests would be what it is today. Update 1. I am in USA. All that I am about to state goes for my country. If you are in another country you would need to do your own research on laws. But one thing to note is that the USA is the least strict and does the least amount of testing. Most other countries actually banned anonymous donations now. There are bills currently going around to ban anonymous donations in the USA, but they are still be voted on. If his wife doesn't want to meet us, that is 100% fine with me. Siblings have asked to meet our donor, not her. She shouldn't be controlling his every move if he can meet his offspring or not. It should be his choice. A lot of what you are saying is what society has taught you to believe about sperm, egg donations. Many DC children are very against that way of thinking. No, it is not just donating and saying bye. You are creating human life. No matter if you directly or through someone else, it is still creating life. It is 100% natural to want to know where you come from. Ask any DC child, or people who are adopted will say the same thing. Even children with two loving, amazing parents still say they want to know more about their bio mom or dad. It should never be something you just do to make some quick cash and then forgot about. Sperm, egg donation companies advertise that way BC they know college-aged students need quick money and are too naive to think it fully though. Offspring will and can search for you, and there is nothing illegal about that, especially after turning 18. Legally speaking, fertility donation clinics are supposed to give offspring medical information / updated medical information whenever they want. If the clinic doesn't have up-to-date info, they are supposed to contact the donor to get that info to give to the offspring. Like I said before, the industry is very sketch and many do not follow the laws, rules put in place. We contacted our clinic many different times as offspring and even our parents, and the clinic would not give us updated medical info that we deserve to have and have a right to. The donor also have the right to ask, know how many live births there has been using their sperm. Live births would mean how many babies made it to term and were born into the world and lived. Some clinics will give identifying info and some won't. But again, they are sketch and did not do this. Our donor wanted to know and asked them many times. Our clinic went so far to tell the parents not to report back live births. This is technically illegal, because they wanted to sell more sperm from our donor. He was a very popular donor, so the clinic wanted him to keep donating so they could make more money. Even after he wanted to stop, they kept asking him for more. Most parents of my siblings did confirm that in the contracts it said that after 3 live births the rest of the sperm would be retired, destructed, so that there wouldn't be too many from each donor. Obviously this was a lie and did not happen. Because the live births weren't be reported accurately, we will never truly know how many of us there is. The main reason we needed to find our donor was because our sister, now 27, at 22 years old, had cancer. Thankfully she lived and is in remission now, but the kind she had most people die from. We needed to find out if it came from his side. If it did, it would be necessary to know what kind of screenings, regular tests, checkups we should be doing to prevent or catch the cancer early, enough to treat it. Also, we could be actively doing things as preventatives. The biggest reason to find him was for medical updates information, not to meet him and have him as a father figure. None of us expected him to be a father figure to us. Some of my siblings don't even want to talk or meet him. Because the USA is the least strict, there has been many cases of criminals donating when they legally shouldn't have been able to. Other case included people with autoimmune diseases, mental health issues, or other diseases. In our case, our donor should have been deferred, denied. BC, he has ADHD. He has passed this on to many of us, and now we have to suffer with it because he was not put through the correct testing he should have been by law. By law, all potential donors are to be screened for STDs, STIs, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, background check for criminal history. They have to be 21 plus and seeking a college degree or have graduated with a college degree. Most clinics here in the USA are sketch AF and only screen for STDs and sometimes mental illnesses like DID, Downs, or bipolar disorder. Our donor never had to answer us when we contacted him because he was originally anonymous, but he did so obviously that means he wants to talk to us and keep in contact. He was very happy to find out about us, he even cried. Legally, there is nothing that says we can't try to find him or contact him. Him being anonymous just means that the clinic will not give out any identity information like his name and address. We are allowed to do DNA tests to try to find the donor and reach out to them. If he didn't want to have contacted us, he could have left us on read, not respond. Most siblings think it would be cool to meet him, his family. It isn't a life or death thing. We will be okay not meeting him or his family, but it would be a cool thing to do to see what similarities we have or things in common with them. Update 2. I discovered that I had 30 siblings. I recently turned 25, and now we have 54 siblings. We are likely to find more during the holidays, as many people receive DNA tests as gifts or buy them on sale at that time. Unfortunately, we will never truly know how many of us are out there. The donor industry is extremely sketchy and doesn't keep accurate records of live births, allowing them to sell more. I got married in September, and we just received our photos back. 4 of my sisters were my bridesmaids, and 1 of my brothers attended as well. Most of them drove between 7 to 13 hours, and some even flew across the country to be there for the wedding weekend. This experience was something I never dreamed of as a little girl, but I am so happy I got to share my wedding day with my siblings by my side. My friends, who bought me the DNA test, mentioned in the original post, were also at the wedding and met my siblings for the first time. It was a full circle, surreal moment. Now onto the real tea of the evening. My family members still had no idea about any of this. Literally none of them. My wedding was my debut, you could say, of my mom's long-held secrets. I was tired of bearing her burden because it was never mine to hold. The wedding program included my siblings' names and labeled them as sister of the bride or brother of the bride. My mom had refused to give a speech at the wedding for some reason. I told her that a parent typically does this and that the groom's father was giving one. She still refused, so I told her my sisters would instead. She said that was fine, but I don't know what she expected them to say since they weren't going to lie for her too. They checked with me first to see if it was okay to talk about the siblings and how we found each other. I said, F it. Do it. During the speeches, it felt like dropping a bomb and then walking away. I got to sit back, grab some popcorn, but no literally, because we had popcorn as a cocktail snack, and watch the show unfold. My 3 sisters gave a speech together, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. They talked about how we all took DNA tests and how I was found. The looks on my aunts, uncles, and older cousins' faces were priceless. I am so glad we have a videographer and should be getting those back soon too. They were in utter shock and disbelief. Their reactions were almost as entertaining as the speech itself. It felt incredible to finally be able to speak openly about my life. Of course, I noticed a lot of whispering and strange glances afterward, but that was no longer my problem to fix. Thankfully, my narcissistic mother managed to keep it together during the wedding, of course, because she has to maintain a front for the world. However, the following week, once we were back home, she was absolutely awful to me, and she still mostly is. Ultimately, I believe it was 1000% worth it, and I would do it a million times over again. The truth always comes out. Since we found our donor and have some contact with him, I sent him photos of the siblings and me from the wedding. He was thrilled for us, wished us the best, and said we all looked beautiful. I replied, thank you so much. I guess we have some good genes. My friend and I met Morgan and Lauren at a live show, and saying it was one of the best moments of my life is an understatement. For the photos you've all probably been waiting for, I know Morgan has, I will attach them. It was a challenging journey to get here, but thank you all for the love and support along the way. Oop, one thing I forgot to mention. Not super important but just funny. Sister with black hair and I came from the same clinic. We are a few months apart, so our moms likely crossed paths while at the clinic because it wasn't a big town. When I first met her it felt like I already knew her. I joked it's because we had already met on the shelf at the clinic. Now on to second story. Son and his girlfriend secretly planned to propose to each other during her birthday vacation, unaware of their perfect timing. My daughter-in-law, a pediatrician named Lexi, called me today with the most wonderful news. She intends to propose to my son. Lexi is such a sweet, hardworking, thoughtful, no-nonsense woman, and my son always remarks on how loved and respected he feels by her. I have never seen him happier. It warms my heart to see him so serious with someone after all these years. She is truly the daughter I have always dreamed of. I raised my son as a single mother for 29 years and had to be both mom and dad to him. His father walked out after his birth. Seeing him so deeply in love and respected by someone as amazing as Lexi fills me with pride and joy. I get to be girly with her and share my love of jewelry, which I plan to leave entirely to her. The entire family adores her and they are all excited to meet her. I already call her my daughter-in-law and consider her part of the family. Little does she know that my son has already bought her a ring and plans to propose during her birthday vacation in September. I am so happy for them. I cannot wait to see their futures develop as spouses and, eventually, as parents when the time comes. My heart is overflowing with happiness and excitement for their journey ahead. Oop, she actually told me how she is proposing. It's also during the birthday vacation. She said she is creating a 2-chapter book with custom art of all their firsts in chapter 1 and the proposal and ring in chapter 2. She is very creative. Update 1. My son, Sean, recently reached out to me with a request. He asked if I could take Lexi ring shopping with me since I'm in the process of designing a new ring for myself. He thought it would be the perfect opportunity for Lexi to see different styles and find her ideal ring. Sean shared with me that Lexi prefers something simple and not overly flashy. She told him, anything bigger than 2 carats is for ego. I would just like a simple solitaire under 2 carats with no fancy band and a meaningful engraving. While Sean, being a successful environmental attorney, wanted to splurge on something beautiful and expensive for Lexi, her preferences are clear. A little backstory. When they were dating and Sean was struggling to land a big law job, Lexi supported him without a complaint. She always told him, if I was in my residency and you had your big job, you do the same. We just have to be patient, it will come, and one day we will laugh about it at our wedding. Lexi does enjoy expensive things, but she firmly believes that her fancy habits and tastes are hers to finance, never putting that burden on Sean. I'm taking Lexi to my jeweler this Friday, and I'm incredibly excited to see her pick out her ring edit. Sean originally purchased a 3-stone ring that was 3.5 carats. When he spoke with Lexi and she said under 2, he needed my help. I bought that ring off of him, to add to my collection / to keep for them for the future. Oop, I love her so much, she is the daughter I always wanted. Oop, it seems that they are on that path. She's been nothing but gracious and kind to my son. Update 2. Things have been moving along beautifully. Friday, Lexi has been looking at simple, plain bands with solitaires, ovals, pear, round, and my jeweler, Groovy Greg, has been taking notes on the pieces that caught her eye. Thankfully, when I was designing my new ring, she tried it on, and she's my size. On the flip side, Lexi got Sean's ring size from his best friend. She found a beautiful white gold band for Sean with their birthstones, sapphire. She even had it engraved, but she hasn't disclosed what it says. And yes, she had it designed by Groovy Greg as well. She is returning to pick it up in July. Saturday, I sent photos and notes to Sean from myself and Greg, and we are designing a white gold 1.5 carat solitaire, VVS, for Lexi. Ring should be ready for pickup in August. So things are rocking and rolling on both ends. I wish I could share this with my husband or ex-husband, but I know they'll spill the beans. Thank you for listening to this old lady talk about her updates. Oop, my son told me that his father is banned from speeches at the wedding too. He has a tendency to make things about himself, and I would hate for him to ruin Lexi and Sean's beautiful day because he cannot shut up. Oop, her mother is aware of everything as well. So far we are the only two who know. Except for Reddit Smile Update 3. Lexi picked up the ring with me last Thursday, and she absolutely loves it. Since I never had a daughter, I asked her if we could go to the nail salon for manicures and pedicures before my family reunion. It was such a special bonding moment, and I couldn't help but gush to everyone who would listen about how proud I am of her and how much I love her. I even saw her tearing up a little. I've never had a good mother-in-law experience myself. My ex-mill pointed a loaded shotgun at my stomach when I was 6 months pregnant with Sean. Lexi has also had her share of a horrible mill, who would steal her money and speak poorly of her. It means the world to me that we can heal that wound for each other and build a loving relationship. Sean also visited me, and we had a family reunion. I accidentally referred to Lexi as his future fiancée to my boss. I'm a bit worried that one of them, Lexi or Sean, may have heard me slip up. Fingers crossed that I didn't spoil the surprise. Sean is set to pick up the ring in 2 weeks, and we're all so excited. September can't come soon enough. Oop, she thought I was after my ex for his money since his father was wealthy. My ex-Phil adored me and Sean, and when I filed for divorce, Sean's dad cheated on me with my best friend and maxed out my credit cards with her. My ex-Phil sent money to help. I declined alimony and took minimum child support since Sean's dad already had 2 other kids and 3 failed marriages. Oop, will do. I promised to share her proposal book and artwork, with her permission of course, as well.